Welcome to Obsession Engineering. We're going to start today with a little bit of a history lesson, and it's all about Ducatis. Up till the year 2000, if a Ducati had an SP badge on it, that meant it was the sport production version, and those were the homologation specials for World Superbike. In 2001 though, that changed with the 996R. That was actually quite an important model because it was the first of the Testa Stretta engines. It was actually a 998 engine, but in a 996 chassis. And that went on to win in World Superbikes. But it was the first time that Ducati had actually used the R moniker instead of the SP. And from then on, if you wanted to win in World Superbike, you wanted a Ducati with an R at the end of it. But then a couple of years ago, Ducati did something slightly strange. They bought back the SP title, but it wasn't an homologation special anymore. It was just a special. So now, does the SP really stand for special and not just sport production? Well, today, luckily, I get to find out because I'm very lucky and I've been lent a Panigale V4 SP2. So this is the Panigale V4 SP2 I get to play on today, so a big thank you to the owner for letting me have a few miles on it. And this one is even more special than they come out of the factory. So all the normal SP refinements, of which we'll go through quite a few, this one also has the full titanium Akrapovic, or depending on your pronunciation, Akrapovic or Kropovic exhaust system on, which looks really funky. So it's got that. I assume it's got the map to go with it. This one also has an upgraded brake caliper on it. Because of the wonderful way that Brembo write their catalogue, who knows what the code number for this is, but these are quite fancy finned superbike spec calipers, and they're onto what is actually the standard fork, these FGR Öhlins, which are in equivalent really their Öhlins new road and track fork. And so a very good suspension spec from standard, an upgraded brake spec, and I suspect the T-Drive Brembo discs are also an upgrade. The carbon wheels are standard though, which is quite fancy for a road bike. Also standard for the road bike is the dry clutch. And that sounds awesome, harks a little bit more back to Ducatis of the day, and comes from the R homologation version, which means in World Superbikes they're allowed to use the dry clutch. So you can see there is a bit of clutch dust out of that and a bit of brake dust and bits around because this bike has been used on track already. Because it's the SP, it also has adjustable rear sets and a few other nice trinkets to make it a little bit more racy to sit on. So power output from the 1103cc V4 with the backward spinning crank in it officially is 215 horsepower. Add in the exhaust system and you're probably another 10 or so horsepower up. So officially 225-ish area. I suspect for where I'm going to ride it, that's going to feel like plenty. And there's also a few nice detail touches like a numbered top yoke, Öhlins damper obviously in there. There's a proper Öhlins TTX shock in it. And interesting because this is sort of Ducati's more focused actual track version of the Panigale V4, the suspension is mechanical adjustment, not electronic. And because it's relatively new, it also has wings. How much difference they actually make, I'm not really sure, but I might soon find out because it's time for me to put my leathers on and go and ride this fantastic piece of kit. Right, visor down. Need some airflow to get the mist out my visor. First run out on it, I'm going to do a couple of steady laps just to get a bit of a feel for it, and then I'm going to nip in the pits and check the tyre pressures. Crack my visor open, that's annoying. Right. We are on the normal road tyre, which is a Super Corsa SP, to go with an SP bike. So it shouldn't take too long to warm up, but I am going to have a couple of steady laps just to try and get a little bit of temperature into them. And then I'm going to nip in the pit. My God, those brakes are good. Just going to nip in the pits and let Rob just check the pressures. Tell you what, the shifter and blipper gearbox is lovely. Oh yeah, that blipper's lovely, and those brakes are good. The initial feel, even going quite slowly, is it's noisy, but the throttle connection is surprisingly soft at low RPM. and it turns nicely. Other than it sounding like it wants to kick my head in, it's fidgeting a little bit on its tyres because I've dropped the pressures a little bit. It feels like a track bike. Yeah, that blipper's awesome, that's so smooth. Especially steady on the right, because Blyton's got a lot more lefts than rights. You know, she revs fast. And these Ducati V4 engines, it's on Desmo valve train, 14:1 compression ratio, so it should have some proper go to it. Revs to 16,000 as well. My word, that's quick! And we're not even revving it yet. Yeah. This will be generating some heat in its tyres already. Yeah, I'm enjoying this already. Easier than I expected. I've ridden enough Ducatis over the years, and I remember riding a 888 that I raced at Classic TT. We took it in Derby and had a ride around on it, and it'd be nearly 100 horsepower behind this, and the march of technology was considerably harder to wire than this. And the nice thing is, because this is the racy version, it's suspended like a race bike. That sound is immense, and it's pulling so clean from what 5,500 RPM here, admittedly second gear, but no hesitation, no rattles, no vibration, just off it goes. Yes, first impressions, this is pretty good, this thing is. Right, I think we'll do a quick tyre temperature and pressure check. Right, Rob has set the tyre pressures. We're happy with those. Right. Oh, we'll have 2 goes with that clutch. Ooh! We got down that straight quite fast. Still not really pushing, especially through the rights. Right, let's try and hit. Oh, that's just silly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a 1290 KTM. There's a slight indication of how fast this Ducati is. The brakes, they're very good, but I'm not really pushing hard enough to get much feel out of them yet. Let's try first out of here. To be fair, there's a lot of electronics stopping it wheeling and just driving it forwards, but they didn't feel like they were really holding it back. Right, let's have a bit more of a dig. It gets a bit wiggly. Not a bad speed run through there. We can definitely get a bit more, but personally I'd like a little bit less anti-wheelie, because I quite like pulling wheelies on power. But the fact the bike keeps driving, you can feel it holding it a little bit, but it's not far off. Short shift to 4 through Port Freud, or if you pronounce it right, Pourfoy. Oh, that blipper's so nice. Yeah, a little wheelie over the crest, but not allowing it to get out of shape. Just full gas from the apex. I haven't had this thing anywhere near the red line yet. It's a lot of RPM this thing's got. Right, knee on the curb, out wide, knee on the floor. Smeared out rear Pirelli on the floor. Over 130 mile an hour on the clock. Yeah, she's fast. But surprisingly easy to go fast on. I mean, I'm not really pushing too hard yet because, well, frankly, it's not my bike, but to go reasonably quick, this is lovely. It's got enough electronics that I feel it's looking after me. Yes. Little bit of a dry clutch rattle from it through the right handers when your head's over that side of the bike as well, which is nice. Why am I short shifting? That's because I'm used to short shifting around here. Right. Yes, very, very easy to go, very fast. Probably a good job it's got quite a lot of electronics because it's got a lot of power, but it's so linear, it's so easy to get the throttle open. Limiting factor at the moment might be, it's not my bike. Once you realise you've got a load of electronics, you sort of just smash the throttle to the stop and let the computer fix it a bit. Oh yeah, just beginning to get a bit of a feel in that brake lever now. Right, first again to here, because first is quite softly mapped. Yeah, proper job of this. Turns out I need a pin lock in this visor though, because turns out I am beginning to work a bit. Whoa, you think this is spinning. Yeah. These might look like a full Supercourse of race time, but they're really not. That's why I'm not really taking liberties with the front tyre. Because I can feel the rear spinning pretty much as soon as I take the mickey out of it. So a bit gentle on the front. But the fact I feel I can sort of nearly push the race bike levels on what is in effect a road bike. This thing is ridiculously good, and it sounds mega. Today I am lucky boy. It spins. Tell you what, there's definitely no brake fade. Bit wider. Hold the spin. Full gas. 135 on the clock. Nick a bit of curb. The suspension actually deals surprisingly well with a few little bumps. It feels quite safe. That might sound ridiculous for a 230-ish horsepower motorbike, but I'm suspecting in the gears I'm using it's never giving me 230 horsepower. What it is doing is giving me a workout though. I'd almost argue that it feels very nice and safe because it's probably a little bit soft as a full-on track bike, but it does come out the showroom with a number plate, so there has to be a little bit of compliance for the road, and frankly I'm probably not the usual Ducati SP owner, and you could turn the electronics down a bit and probably give it a bit more preload. This is my favourite bit. Bloody hell, that it's so good. Oh, toe on the floor. Just when you let go of the gas, the rear just sort of kicks back at you a little bit when it stops spinning, but that's the chassis issue with it just being a bit soft, I think. But it never not tracks a line. Right, last lap because Russ is getting the flag out. So I'm not going to take the mickey this lap. Accurate. Having to work a bit through the chicane. Hold it wide, wait. .137. Can't get it stopped. I probably could have done, but it ain't my bike, so I probably don't really need to. I'd love to keep riding this thing, but it's not mine and I'm going to get giddy if I'm not careful. Yes. So, the question we started with, does SP stand for special? At this stage I'm saying yes. So after 20 minutes on track, there are a few bits I could tell you. The engine is an absolute gem. It's actually surprisingly easy to use for an 1100cc V4 with 220, 230 horsepower or whatever. The mapping's quite nice on it and the electronic control's quite nice, but even the throttle connection's just nice when you're riding it. It's not jerky or anything. And it's also incredibly linear, so anything from sort of 5,000 to 15, it just drives in pretty much a straight line. I thought there was quite a lot of electronics on, and there is, because I was being quite liberal with the throttle in places to try it. And yes, there's quite a lot of electronics on it holding it back. Maybe not holding it back, just keeping it in check. But it means that you can be pretty liberal with the throttle on reasonable lean angle, and it's, you know, you're confident it's not going to get completely out of shape. I could have turned it down, and if you were really pushing for a hot lap I probably would turn a little bit of it down, but it's not mine, so I wasn't going to. The brakes on this one, obviously an upgrade from standard, but stunning. I think I probably needed to push them harder to get a real feel out of the brake lever, but to push them harder you'd need stiffer fork springs in it, because we're on the bump stopping places, and you'd sort of get to the point where you feel that you're going to be using the tyre, not the fork anymore. And again, it's not my bike. The way it turns is lovely. It's pretty neutral, so you can pretty much put it where you want it. Out the ump onto Lancaster, it maybe could hook the line a little bit nicer to like cut back to the apex, but I think the shock's a little bit on the soft side to make it slightly compliant on the road. And again, then when it hits the bumps it sort of unsettles it a little bit, but it actually makes it quite good fun because you know it's never going to get that out of shape. But really, the fact that I could get confident enough to push on and have some fun and get the tyre spinning and bits like that on somebody else's really expensive motorbike within a few laps is testament to how easy they've actually made it to ride. And it sort of sits almost between road bike and race bike. Full on race bike, you'd have it a little bit stiffer and you'd have a little bit less electronics on it and probably make it harder work to go fast on it, but it'd have a bit more potential to do that. For the road, I suspect this is complete overkill, because frankly it's probably complete overkill for Blyton. But the big question really is, does the SP stand for special? And the simple answer is yes. If you have one of these, the whole package is just lovely. Looking at it, it looks stunning. The details on it are fantastic. The noise is lovely. And it just sort of does everything to make you feel that you are special. So the bike might be special, but in fact it's the feeling that you get from it that's actually really the special bit. So yes, SP might not be sport production homologation anymore, but it is definitely special. So thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this instalment. If you want to come on track and refine your riding skills, check out Rapid Training. Whether you're a road rider or a track rider, we have a course for you. And if you've enjoyed this, please press the subscribe button and join us again next time for some more motorbike fun.